I used to measure success in billions. $2 billion in entertainment value, over 100 television series, over 2,000 hours of content watched by millions of people around the world. Shows that dominated prime time, 4 Emmy nominations. Yet, I was invisible. If you're a successful expert who gets referrals but can't charge premium rates, if you're the go-to person in your industry but invisible online, if you're making 6 figures but feel like you're the best kept secret in your market, this video is for you. I'm speaking to you right now. For over 20 years, I climbed the entertainment industry ladder. I was director of development at Fox 21, where I worked on and contributed to some of television's most iconic series. Sons of Anarchy, Homeland, Brickleberry, Beauty and the Geek. Then I became the senior director of Primetime Unscripted at A&E for over 12 years, overseeing shows like Dynasty, Intervention, 60 Days In, and Zombie House Flipping. I was the guy who oversaw creative direction, managed production, reported to all the departments when shows got produced and launched. I was sent to international markets to network and represent the company. I had the pleasure of mentoring A&E junior executives and supported numerous teams across the network. And what I loved to do, I loved to lead motivational groups across the industry and the company. But what I really understood, I understood what made content addictive. I knew how to evolve shows to keep audiences coming back season after season. But here's what nobody tells you about being a successful W-2 employee and a network executive. In my experience, you can oversee billions in value creation, develop iconic series, represent your company globally, and still feel and are invisible. Just like Rebecca, a management consultant who told me, I've got all these methodologies, but I can't articulate what makes me different from every other consultant. Or like Michael, a successful financial advisor who said, I'm great at what I do, but I feel like I'm all over the place when it comes to positioning myself. And I told Michael, yeah, you are correct. And does this sound familiar at all? You might be the $2 bill in your industry. Rare, valuable, impossible to ignore, but you're stuck in a wallet full of ordinary $1 bills. So let me paint you a picture of what success looked like in my world. At Fox 21, I worked on and contributed to Sons of Anarchy, a show that became a cultural phenomenon and ran for 7 seasons. And Homeland, a series that won multiple Emmys and Golden Globes. These weren't just hits, they were shows that defined television for a generation. At A&E, I oversaw Intervention for 12 years, a show that literally saved lives and earned me 4 Emmy nominations over 4 consecutive years. I helped evolve that show, kept it fresh, made sure it stayed relevant and impactful, now for over 20 seasons. Duck Dynasty, I came on as the lead executive after a few seasons and helped it scale into a cultural phenomenon. Over 11 million viewers watched per episode. Hundreds of millions in revenue, A&E's biggest hit ever. But here's the thing that sort of stung after looking back. Despite all of this success, despite being sent to represent the company internationally, despite mentoring other execs and leading motivational groups, I was running in place. Same responsibilities, no growth opportunities, no significant salary increases despite the massive success of the shows I oversaw, no promotions even though I was doing work above my pay grade every single day. And now that comes with the W-2 territory. But I was tired. I was tired of it. And not only that, there was this unwritten rule in the entertainment industry. You're not allowed to have a personal brand. Another unwritten rule. Don't express your opinions publicly. Another unwritten rule: don't take credit where credit's due. I'll never forget the day HR called me while I was on an approved vacation. They told me not to post personal photos during business hours because others shouldn't know I wasn't working. Think about that for a second. I was on an approved vacation, and they were policing my personal social media because it might reveal that I had a life outside of work. And that's when I realized, okay, that was a lie, many years later, that I was creating massive value for the network, developing iconic shows, representing the company globally, mentoring other executives, but I wasn't allowed to capture any of that for myself. I believed I was the $2 bill, rare, valuable, essential to the operation, but I was being treated like just an ordinary $1 bill. I was dying to expand, learn, grow, but there weren't any opportunities. That hierarchy was set. The roles were defined. Personal branding? That was forbidden territory. And here's something that really got to me. I love to help people. I love to help people without expectation of return. Always have, and that's why I mentored execs, led motivational groups, supported teams across the network, made so many projects better, not for me, but for them, and hopefully to sell to somewhere else. I loved it. But in the entertainment industry, it's not something that's rewarded. Certainly not as much as it should be. You help, you support, you mentor, and it's just part of the job. No extra recognition, which is fine. No additional compensation. No career advancement. But then things changed. I started producing shows with entrepreneurs, mainly in the real estate space. And for the first time in my career, I was surrounded by completely different people. These weren't corporate executives playing by unwritten rules. These were people who also loved to help others without expectation of return. But here's the difference. In the entrepreneurial world, that generosity was rewarded. It built their brands. It attracted their ideal clients. It created massive value that they could capture. I felt I was being seen. I was around my people. They were building futures for themselves and others they believed in. They would fall on the sword for others in what they believed in. Most importantly, they were building legacies their families and friends would be proud of. And they had something I didn't. The freedom to be themselves publicly. The ability to build their own brands, the opportunity to capture the value they created through their generosity and expertise. I watched these entrepreneurs speak at events, build massive followings, charge premium rates, and become the obvious choice in their markets. They weren't just successful, they were unforgettable. And that's when the questions started haunting me. What if I could build something for myself? What if I could help people without corporate restrictions? What if my natural generosity could actually build my brand instead of being expected? What if I could become the $2 bill in my own industry instead of being hidden in someone else's wallet? These questions were eating at me, but I couldn't get answers in my W-2 job. The corporate structure just wouldn't allow it. The unwritten rules prevented it, and the hierarchy blocked it. And I was tired of making excuses. I realized I was a master chef who had spent 20 years creating award-winning dishes for other people's restaurants. Never allowed to put my name on the menu or open my own place. I had all the skills. I understood the psychology of what makes content impossible to ignore. I knew how to evolve brands to stay relevant and engaging. I had proven I could oversee massive value creation and develop iconic series. I was a natural mentor and helper. But I'd never been allowed to apply any of that to myself. Until now. when I left. 'Cause that's exactly what I help people like Rebecca and Michael do. Rebecca went from having methodology she couldn't articulate to having a clear $2 bill brand that positions her as the premium choice in management consulting. And Michael, he went from feeling all over the place to having crystal clear positioning that makes him the obvious choice for high net worth clients. The difference? They learned to become the $2 bill in their industries instead of blending in with all the ordinary $1 bills. And maybe you can relate to this. I bet you can. I bet you're incredible at what you do, but you're constrained by corporate rules, industry, norms, or your own limiting beliefs about what's possible. That hurt, right? I got you. I see you. I was that. Maybe you're creating massive value, but not capturing it for any of yourself. I bet you are. Maybe you're naturally generous and helpful, but that generosity isn't building your brand or advancing your career. Maybe you're the expert everyone comes to for advice, but you're still invisible to the people who could really benefit from what you know and those that are paying. Maybe you're tired of being the best kept secret in your industry when you know you could be the $2 bill that everyone remembers and keeps. Am I speaking to you? Good. Because tomorrow, I'm going to tell you about the moment I realized that helping one entrepreneur discover their unique value was more fulfilling than overseeing shows watched by millions of people who would never know my name. It's the story of how I went from being an invisible executive to building my own $2 bill brand, and how you can do the same thing. So here's the thing. I'm going to share this 8-part series. Yes, it's 8 parts once. Now, you can go back in YouTube, but you want to watch it real time. Because if you miss a day, you're going to lose the thread of how all of this connects to building your own $2 bill brand. And then I got something for you. Because you're helping me test and refine my methodology, while I'm going to be packaging it into a higher ticket program, I'm going to give you something for free. It's my Vibe Finder GPT. The link is below. Take it. You're going to get results that I think are going to blow your mind away. And then I also have a $2 bill brand audit, and it's at a current price for a limited time only. I can only take a few more people because each audit takes hours and hours, which I love doing, but I'm time constrained. But I want to help you discover what makes you the $2 bill in your industry. So take the Vibe Finder GPT, sign up for an audit, and I can't wait to be in business with you because I know that you're ready to stop being the best kept secret and start being the obvious choice. Because here's what I've learned. You do not need billions of people to know your name. You know, one person can change your life. And that person needs to never forget what makes you the $2 bill. Be unforgettable. Be the $2 bill. See you tomorrow for day 2 of 8.